Well, this is going to be a space to watch closely. Now, the National Payments Corporation has called a meeting with UPI app providers today. Sources have told CNBC-TV18 the meeting has been convened to discuss how UPI players with lesser market share can grow their presence in the sector. Ritu joins us now with the details. Ritu, take us through what we know about this meeting. What's the agenda? What is this really about?
Well, Shireen, NPCI regularly meets with players in the digital payment ecosystem, but when it comes to this particular meeting, you have to see its significance in the wake of what's happening with Paytm Payments Bank and the impact because of that on Paytm, which is the third largest player by volume when it comes to UPI transactions that are processed. Now, NPCI, which operates UPI, wants to ensure that the market share dynamics, they remain stable in the UPI ecosystem, and there's no over-dependence on just a handful of players when it comes to these transactions. So if you look at the top 3 players in the ecosystem, for instance, just between PhonePe and Google Pay, that's more than 80% of the market share by volume for UPI transactions. And if you add the third player, that is Paytm, which is close to 12% market share, you're basically talking about just 3 players dominating more than 90% of the UPI market. So it is this concentration risk that NPCI seeks to address. It tried previously to impose that 30% volume cap on third-party application providers like Google Pay and PhonePe, and that deadline kept getting extended. It is now expected to come into force only starting next year. But as recently as last month as well, you had the parliamentary panel flag the dominance of foreign-owned players in the UPI space and the need for promoting more Indian players in the ecosystem. So with all of that context, today's meeting is likely to see participation from top banks, a handful of NBFCs like Aditya Birla Bajaj Finance, representatives from Amazon Pay, even Flipkart, which recently joined the UPI bandwagon, etc. And among them, UPI players that have relatively smaller shares like your Cred, Slice and so on will also participate. The idea is to find ways for these players to grow the UPI ecosystem and thereby expand their presence and market share as well. The 3 players which dominate the market share, which we said before, Google Pay, PhonePe and Paytm, they are not invited to the meeting. So that should give you a sense of exactly what NPCI is trying to do here.
All right, Ritu, many thanks for joining us. We'll wait to see what emerges from that meeting. Now, 4 former